So I'm in my 20s, and a lot of people who are not in their 20s say that your 20s are one of the most important periods of your life. It's where you lay the foundation for the things that you're going to do in the future and the person that you're going to be. And I feel like the first 5 years of my 20s, I was focusing more on having fun, socializing, being at university, making friends, doing lots of different things. And now I'm like, let's get these next 5 years, because I don't want to waste my 20s. I don't want to look back and think I didn't use that time as efficiently as possible and learn as much as possible. So these are a few things that I'm doing to try not to waste the next 5 years. One of the main things I'm thinking about, which sounds really simple, is just to work a bit harder in my career. So whatever I'm doing in terms of my full-time jobs, I'm working for a YouTuber called Ali Abdal at the moment, or in just the YouTube stuff that I have going on at the side, just to work a bit harder, just to spend more of my free time working and to spend more time learning about things that are going to serve me well in the future, learning about different ways to make money, learning about different skills that I can build, and just gaining experience and knowledge in lots of different areas. I feel like I've worked hard at lots of different times in my life, but over the last 5 years, I've been focusing more on like having fun and making friends and socializing, especially whilst at university and a couple of years out of university. But now in the second half of my 20s, I really want to just work a bit harder and to just put a little bit more emphasis on my career, so that when I turn 30, I feel like I've set myself up for long-term success, and I don't feel like I've not really worked hard during my 20s to actually enable me to have a good life. The other thing that I'm thinking about in these next 5 years of my 20s is to surround myself with like-minded people. So people who also are interested in the same things as I am, people who also want to work hard, people who also want to explore and learn about similar things. And you obviously want to have different people in your life, so you're not in some kind of echo chamber where you're just getting reinforced the same kind of information or the same kind of beliefs all the time. But you also want to surround yourself with people who are going to build you up, believe in you, and support you to do the things that you want to do, and also hold you accountable to the things that you want to do. And that's something that I think is really, really valuable, is like sharing your goals and your aspirations with other people who understand why you want them and who can help you achieve them. And then when you're having those days or weeks where you're not feeling so good, or you're feeling like you don't want it as much, the people around you can remind you why you're doing it and what it means to you, and they've basically invested in your success in the same way that you are. That's what I think surrounding yourself with like-minded people can really do for you. And also, obviously, you can learn from them. They might have skills or knowledge or different experiences that you can learn from that will help you grow and get better at the things that you're trying to do. And for me, that means like kind of social media, YouTube, writing, making videos, and like selling stuff online, I guess. All these kind of things. My workplace is obviously a really good place for that, because everyone there is kind of invested in the online world, and so we all learn from each other, and that is like a really effective way for me to build my skills. So the next thing I'm thinking about is just trying different things. It sounds super, super basic, but just being open to trying new things and learning new things, because I think you always want to be in this state where you are constantly refining what it is you like to do and what it is you enjoy, but always being open to new things as well, because there are always going to be things that you don't know about that you might like to do or might be really good at. And I think it's really easy to close yourself off really at the start of your career, at the start of your life, like in your 20s, and not be willing to explore what might be out there. I would never have guessed that I would be here making YouTube videos and working for a YouTuber full time at 25. Like a couple years ago, I would probably have imagined realistically that I would just be working in some corporate firm doing a job that I sort of thought was interesting, but like didn't particularly inspire me, and like felt like a slight limitation on my progress through kind of like getting regular promotions and having to follow a certain process. Whereas now, just because of the fact that I was willing to try new things and I was curious enough to actually do it, I have opened myself up to a whole different world, and I really enjoy it. So I've really benefited from just having the mindset of trying something new and keeping with it for a little bit to see if I actually liked it. And here we are, like 60 videos in or something, and not even reached a year of being on YouTube yet, and my life's like completely changed. So I think trying new things is just like a really simple way to not waste your 20s. Another thing that's related to this is just saying yes to opportunities. So whenever someone presents something to you and says, do you want to do this thing, or do you want to build this with me? I just think saying yes, at least initially, is like a really easy way to maximize your opportunity for luck and for interesting things happening in your 20s, but also at any point in your life. Just saying yes is something that I've been thinking about quite a while, ever since I watched the film Yes Man, which is obviously like quite a classic film, bit of a cliche, but there's like a really important lesson in there, which is that when you say yes, stuff happens. And when stuff happens in your life, then you learn more, you experience more and you grow more and you just gain more information about what life it is that you want to have. I can give you a really tangible example of this. Someone messaged me as a result of making these videos. Someone messaged me saying, I've watched a couple of your videos and like would love to grab a drink. So I was like, let's do it. Let's say yes to this random opportunity. And that person has now become like a really, really good friend of mine, someone who I see a lot and communicate with a lot about this kind of stuff because they're also interested in YouTube. And I did have like loose connections to them in the first place, but had I not been willing to take that opportunity, then I might not have, you know, made this like amazing friendship. So I just think saying yes and being open-minded is super, super powerful. The fifth thing I'm thinking about is increasing my surface area for luck as much as possible. So saying yes and trying new things play into this quite a lot. When you do those things, when you try new things, when you say yes to stuff, you're increasing your surface area for luck and for interesting things happening, which I think is like the hidden spice of life. Interesting things happening in your life and serendipity and all that kind of stuff. But the way that I am trying to increase my surface area for these things happening is the internet and doing stuff online. So YouTube, posting on like LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, which I haven't been doing so much recently because it's quite tiring, but like making these YouTube videos is just like a vehicle for serendipity. It is a way for interesting things to happen in my life and for like random people to show up in my life. And for like anyone who might be interested in what I'm doing can send me a message or whatever it is. It's just a way of keeping that surface area for luck and for opportunity really, really big. I never really thought I'd be an internet person. And like this time last year, I was doing like nothing on the internet, no, you know, posting anything on any kind of platform. But since I've started doing it more regularly, it's just been like a massive vehicle for serendipity and like random things and random connections. So it's definitely been a good decision and I'm just going to keep doing it. And the final thing I'm thinking about, which actually doesn't really relate to like 20s specifically, just like life in general, it's just realization that I've had recently, is the arrival fallacy. So the arrival fallacy is when you think that arriving at a goal that you have in the future will make you happy. And so you sort of persist with that goal that you have and just thinking that when you get it, when you achieve the thing, it will make you happy. But it's a fallacy. It doesn't actually change that much. And loads of people have spoken about this kind of thing, loads of like professional athletes mostly, where they have some kind of crazy goal of being world champion or winning the World Cup or winning, you know, a certain trophy or certain medal, and they do it and they are really disappointed. And in the next couple of days and weeks, they realize that actually it didn't mean that much anyway. And they might be happy that they've done it, but now they're in this state where they don't have a next thing and they don't have like, you know, any other like goal to aim for. They've just arrived at the thing and it wasn't as great as they thought it would be. So I've experienced this a few times this year. One is with this YouTube channel, and there have been a few things that have just been like somewhat anticlimactic, I guess. And it's probably quite predictable, but for example, 1,000 subscribers was like a really big goal because it just felt kind of unreachable to start with. It just felt like YouTube was like really daunting platform, and especially to go out and like be really kind of like obvious and open about the fact that I was trying to get to 1,000 subscribers was quite scary. And then I hit it and I was like, oh, well, I guess that was kind of that. And I've now got to keep going and do, you know, hit the next thing. So it didn't actually like make you feel that great. And then the other thing with YouTube is monetization. So you have to hit certain criteria on YouTube to be able to earn money from the ads that are put at the start of your video. You have to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. And I hit that earlier this year in, I think, June. And then you start earning money from it. And I thought that would be like a really awesome thing because that was one of like main goals. I was like, it'd be so cool to earn money on the internet. And now that I'm doing it, it's like, oh, you know, it's cool, but it's kind of not like the best thing in the world, and it hasn't like changed, you know, everything in my life. It's not like all my problems are now solved. But the temptation is to think that achieving your goals, whatever it is you've set yourself in the future as a target, the temptation is to think that getting it and achieving it will solve everything. And it just doesn't work like that, because it only solves that one problem of having that goal. It doesn't actually solve all the other things in your life that you might have going on, like your relationships, your living situation, your finances, whatever. If it solves one area, it doesn't necessarily solve all of them. So the reason I brought the arrival fallacy up in this video is because in my 20s, I'm trying to find the things that I like to do regardless of like the goals that I might set. So I might think it'd be amazing to earn like £1 million, for example, but as a goal, it's kind of stupid because maybe I'll just earn £1 million. Like that would be incredible. But if I did, it'd probably just be a bit anticlimactic. I'd probably be like, okay, well now I've just got £1 million. And I think that is like, I mean, it's a bit of a mental example. I'm sure I'd be excited, but at the same time, it wouldn't actually solve other problems in my life. It would just solve like money problems. And I think having those crazy goals is really important to give you direction of what you want to do and to where you want to go, and like to, you know, set your ambitions high, but you don't want to think that just achieving that individual goal will solve everything. So yeah, that's just a few things that I'm thinking about at the moment as I'm in my 20s, and how I'm thinking about trying to make the most of them and not waste them and all that kind of stuff. So I hope that was useful for any of you watching. And I have this video here called How to Avoid a Quarter Life Crisis, which some people seem to have enjoyed and taken some useful advice from. So if you want more 20s related content, then check out that video there. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.